Hey, welcome back, code fans. This is Bill Stannard from Yes Online Learning at the St. Louis Science Center with another of our online learning sessions, this one titled PocketCode Lesson Number 2, spacePong. And this is the second part of that lesson. And in this lesson, we're going to explore how to add a falling creature and bounce that creature off of our spaceship back up into space. So let's get going. The next thing we have to do is go back and add a critter. So I'm going to use my back button twice, and I'm going to go back from the Pong, and once I get out to BS spacePong, I'm going to add an actor. So I'm going to go to my media library, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to where we were before. Heroes of the Universe. And I am going to pick this charming creature. And he's called Blue Duster, but I'm going to change his name to Ball because he's going to be our Ball in this game. Okay, so there's Ball, and I need to write some code for Ball. So I'm going to go up to Scripts, and the first one is always the first one, when the scene starts. So we're going to grab that. That's an event, when the scene starts. The next one I'm going to get is I'm going to set Ball's size to 50. That's going to be under Looks. I'm going to set his size to 50, 50. And the next thing I'm going to do is set his position, his Y position, to 500. That's motion, and set Y, move it down below the size, and set it to 500. The next thing is set his motion type to moving and bouncing under gravity. So I'm going to click on plus, motion, and his motion type is down here. Drag that down, put it under set Y, and I'm going to leave it the way it's set, which is moving and bouncing under gravity. The next thing I need to do is set the gravity. So I'm going to hit the plus sign again. That's another motion. Scroll down near the bottom and look for the setting gravity. So it's set gravity for all actors and objects. I'm going to drag that down, and I am going to set X at 0. It's already there, so I don't have to touch it. And I'm going to set the Y to minus 50, 50. Okay, so there we go. I now need a forever loop because, after all, this is a game. So I'm going to get that out of control, click on forever, drag it down here, and as soon as I drag it, it adds its little end of loop message. And I want to tell it that if the ball is on an edge, I want it to bounce. So I'm going to click on plus and go to motion, and if on edge bounce is right there. I'm going to drag that down, make sure you put it inside of the forever loop. And now we have to start talking about what is going to happen once we actually touch something. So in this case, when I bounce off of Pong, the spaceship, what do I want to happen? So I am going to click on plus sign and go to motion, and all the way down near the bottom where when you bounce off. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to drag it all the way down to under the end of loop. And what I need to do is say specifically when I bounce off Pong. So I'm going to click on the little down arrow over there, and I'm going to select Pong. So what do I want to have happen when I bounce off of Pong? I want to set my velocity. Okay, so that's another motion. So I come up here to velocity, scroll down, set velocity. So I click on that, drag it all the way down under when you bounce off, and the first part of my velocity is the X part, and I want that to be a random number. So I'm going to click on the 0 next to the X, and I know random is a function, and I'm going to grab random, and I'm going to set it from minus 500, and then on the other side of that comma, I'm going to set it to plus 500. And I'm going to click OK. So we've done that, and we now need to add a sound. So I'm going to go ahead and hit plus, and I'm going to go to sound, and I'm going to go to start sound, and I'm going to drag that down under the set velocity, and I'm going to click on the word new and click on it again, and I'm going to go get a sound from the media library. Once I get to the media library, I'm going to go down and look toward the bottom, and I'm looking for a sound effect pop. So I'm going to click and hold on that. We've downloaded, and so it says start sound pop. Now I'm going to put in another when you bounce off of Pong, and for that one I'm going to change the color of the ball. So I'm going to hit plus and motion, and when you bounce off of, drag that all the way down below the sound. And in this case, when I bounce off of Pong, what do I want to have happen? I want to change my color by 25. So I'm going to click on plus, and that's under looks, and I'm going to change my color, and that's down near the bottom. And if I move that all the way down, change color by 25. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. All right. Oh, yes. Okay, there he is, and he's changing color. So I'm going to stop him, and I'm going to start it again. And stop him. Okay, so right now, we are looking at our ball code, and let's see why he is not bouncing off the Pong. So if we go through all of our code, we'll see if we start at the top, when the scene starts, we set his size, we set his Y position, we set his motion type, we set the gravity, and if he's on an edge, he bounces. So what does he do when he bounces? When he bounces off of Pong, we set his velocity to a random number between minus 500 and 500, and we set the Y to 0. That's why he's not going anywhere. So I'm going to click on the Y, and I'm going to put in 1000 and click OK. Let's try it now, giving him a little bit of velocity. Click go, and here he comes. There he goes. Now he's bouncing, and he's changing color, and he's doing exactly what we want him to do. Well, that's it, code fans. This is Bill Stannard from Yes Online Learning at the St. Louis Science Center with another of our online learning sessions, this one titled PocketCode Lesson Number 2, spacePong. And before I say goodbye, though, don't forget to save your project with your initials followed by the project name. Make sure those initials are there. Bye for now, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Thanks for watching.